for more exclusive content. Have you ever wondered how our blue eaglets are formed by the Ateneo? How they learn to take their first step, run, and fly? Join Batang Atinista as Jerome Garcia, Jeff Velasco, and Jenny Salvania, otherwise known as the Team JJJ of the Ateneo Grade School, share with us how the Ateneo is starting them young. Batang Atinista. Only here at Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
The time has come when we can fly and spread our wings against the sky.
Are you feeling sore? We can make that better. Tune in to the Ateneo Senior High School's first radio program, Soar, the Seniors On Air Radio, where you can listen to music you want, straight from our playlists. Don't change that channel yet, because Soar is ready to put the you in youth. Soar, Seniors On Air, here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at Radyo Katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates.
To listen to music that uplifts the soul, follow JustCom PH on Spotify and JustCom Music on YouTube. Our music is also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, baby! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, baby! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Javi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo! Ipinta ang mga salita, tulain ang indak, sumayaw sa himig, awitin ang diwa. Dati akong paraluman. Ang programa ukol sa mga ulat sa komunidad ng sining at kultura. Magtanong, magbungkahi, at makibahagi. Dito lamang sa Dati Akong Paraluman. Tuwing Lunes, alas 3 ng hapon. Dati Akong Paraluman. Sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni
Welcome to The Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down!
Eagle Nation, thank you again for tuning into us over here at Radyo Katipunan 87.9 on this Wednesday afternoon. Once again, it's time for our Katipunan Crossover Hoop Talk. Of course, joining me from the Maroon side of things, basketball buddy ko, Javi Palaña. Javi, now, okay, we've been talking about the NBA playoffs, NBA finals. But after four contested battles, no? Lakers finally win away from winning banner number 17. And Javi, after watching the game kanina, I'm not sure if I can still hate on LeBron at this point. Because I don't know, is it practically over for you, diba, after watching that?
If you ask me, Anthony, in my opinion, I don't think you can count out the Miami Heat just yet. But definitely the Lakers will be heavy favorites to win this title. It's just a matter of when they will close out this series. But I believe a win for Miami is not yet impossible in the next game. So it's up to the Lakers to take care of business in the next game. No, it's hard for them to let Miami gain momentum if they get the win next game. So they definitely have to take care of business in the next game and get banner number 17 up in the Staples Center rafters.
Right, and I remember the interview, post-game interview with Rachel Nichols. Parang she was asking LeBron why this big win over Miami. Then LeBron was just saying, we understand what's at stake over here, diba? Kasi if had we let this slip again, then Miami would have tied this to a piece, right?
That's
Simple
right.
as that.
That's right.
And parang we witnessed from games 1 to 3. All games were won by double digits, right? Game 1, sobrang tambakan yan. Games 2 and 3, at least 10 points yung inabot. Pero this was the closest game so far, the entire series. But were you surprised by this?
Not at all, Anthony, because in this game, parang na-figure out ng Miami what the strengths and the weaknesses that they had to focus on the Lakers side. And they knew already what to do on their side of things as well. It, for me, was a bit short of a dilemma for them on how to play the Lakers now that they had Bam Adebayo. Not having him for the past 2 games, having Kelly Olynyk play heavy minutes, I think that was a bit of a dilemma for them going into this game, and that gave them a bit of a problem on the dimension side of things of how they were going to play offensively and defensively, especially that Bam is one of the focal points of their offense.
Right. And since you mentioned Bam Adebayo, okay, you haven't played all series long. You've been hurting, but your neck and shoulder has been bothering you. And then you get 4 fouls third quarter pa lang. So parang was this a case of Bam Adebayo parang extra gigil? No, he wanted to prove something in his first game in the finals.
Yeah, definitely. He picked up his second foul in the 1 minute 33 mark of the first quarter. And this was something similar to what happened to Anthony Davis in the last game. Being in foul trouble, if you're a big man, that really takes a lot of your aggressiveness out of you, and it takes you out of your rhythm defensively and offensively. And this is exactly what happened to Bam Adebayo here in this game. So, and yes, coming from a 2-game absence, may konting giggle factor talaga na nangyari dyan.
Yeah, right. And also, parang the giggle factor wasn't only limited to Bam. Kasi what I noticed from Miami was they gave up too many fouls. Just too many fouls. You include the best example of that was Marcus Morris able to fake out Kelly Olynyk on the flyby free, diba? And then he was sent over to the line. And daming instances when Miami was drawing in 3 points, even just a point close, and then they gave up another foul. LA built some cushion. They shoot free throws.
Yes. I think for Miami, being a young team and the Lakers being the more veteran team, the Lakers definitely took advantage of their experience in this game, and the inexperience of Miami in turn turned into winning the first game in the final series after not being in the finals for so long, and most of these people on the roster of the Miami Heat not playing in the finals before. This is the first time, and for them to win their first game, yung excitement nila of winning one game against a very seasoned LA team, nadala nila dito sa game na to. And it turned out negatively for them because the Lakers pounced on that excitement and really took advantage of the inexperience of the Miami Heat.
Parang may konting may konting game-free hangover, diba? If we could
Yes,
call it
that's
that.
right. Hangover is the perfect term for that.
Oh, but also no, Javi, I noticed how LA, I mean, Jimmy Butler he had a near triple-double again. Pero parang this time they were able to control Jimmy Butler a little bit better, no? You noticed that too?
Yeah, a lot of Jimmy Butler's moves were well contested. His fadeaways, his turnaround, teardrop shot from the inside, very, very well contained. And he actually was very lucky to hit a lot of those down the stretch in the last game. But this time, it's a make or miss league. He wasn't able to make shots down the stretch, and that's what spelled the difference for them in this game.
True. But you know what, Javi, like, again, we're still on Miami side over here, pero I just like Tyler Hero stepping up to the moment. Diba he scored a couple of threes in the fourth, tapos meron pa siya on the baseline, off the curl, nails that fade away from the side. I mean, it's just guts na lang, Parang that's all you can ask from Miami, just guts. Parang that you're hurting, you're down in the series, parang little to no chance at all, but you like the young guys. Parang, sige lang, tuloy lang, di ba?
Exactly, guts talaga ang pinapakita ng mga young guns ng Miami, especially Tyler Hero. You like the way how he's playing because no matter how much he's struggling during the early parts of the game, he's not afraid to take big shots down the stretch, make or miss. He will take those shots because that is what he's being called upon to do. That is his job. That is his role. You can look back at a young Kobe Bryant before who took a lot of air balls against a Utah Jazz team in the playoffs, and that experience he carried on when he went into the finals again, when he went into the playoffs later on in his career. And I think this is a good experience for Tyler Hero. Win or lose the championship, this will be good for him moving on in his career. Remember, he's only 20 years old. True.
You couldn't have said it any better, Javi. 20 years old. And you know what? Watching Tyler Hero this whole playoffs, parang in terms of being a gunslinger, yun talagang just no conscience, I'm gonna shoot it. It reminds me so much of a young Klay Thompson. Pero what differentiates Tyler Hero is he's got the swag of Mike Miller. Remember Miami Mike Miller?
Yeah.
He hit the 7 threes against Oklahoma, and diba parang he was being interviewed after the game. Like, Mike, what was going through your mind? Parang si Mike Miller, sabi niya, just let it fly, man. Just let it fly. And parang that's Tyler Hero, diba? A young Klay Thompson with the swag of Mike Miller.
That's true. He's channeling a lot of that old Mike Miller attitude when he was in Miami. And, he's channeling a lot of the attitudes of the great scorers of the past, just really, exactly, let it fly. Because that's what he's called upon to do, and that's what he's doing.
Right. So I think we've covered Miami well enough. Pero, Javi, how about going to the LA side naman? You said before, diba? Remember, against Denver, LA effort, it was here, it was there, it was not consistent. But here, guess who was the second leading rebounder of LA? It was Rajon Rondo with 7 boards. And diba, how many times did you see Alex Caruso get an offensive rebound, a tap here, deflection there? Diba, those guys, Caruso, Rondo, offensive rebounding, it kind of lifted the Lakers in this game.
Yeah, 3 words, Anthony. Sense of urgency. That is what the Lakers played with today. It was really very lacking. They played very complacent in the last game. Kind of what they played with when Denver won that one game in the previous series. And today they showed up. Everybody who wasn't performing well in the last game. You have KCP, you have Danny Green. They hit timely shots. KCP started with 8 points right away in the first quarter. Sorry, that was 10 points right away in the first quarter. Danny Green had 8 points right away in the first half. Rajon Rondo bounced back from a subpar previous game and really was aggressive, driving the lanes and kicking out to his teammates, dishing dimes underneath. It was really a great show of play for LA today, and it was really the reason why they won the game today.
Right. I think in this game, no, more than I'm giving of course credit always to LeBron and AD, pero especially KCP, you mentioned him. When Tyler here was nailing his shots, KCP was right there to answer them, 'di ba? Parang he scored what? 5 straight points, yung isa transition free pa nga. Parang like when you're watching this from LA, you notice that yung half court game nila, it's inconsistent. But when they can get you, especially in transition, that's where they're dangerous, 'di ba?
Exactly, that's where they're dangerous talaga. They are deadly in transition. That is Lakers basketball. Defending and suffocating their opponents on the half court, getting the rebound and running it out into transition, whether it's LeBron James or Rajon Rondo running the break, passing it to a leaking out Anthony Davis. That's where they're very dangerous, especially when KCP is also on the wings, not settling for that outside shot and filling the lanes correctly. That's where they're most dangerous, Anthony.
Right. And also, no, Anthony Davis nailing that clutch 3-pointer, put them up by 9. That basically was the dagger na to seal the win. But you know what? I just don't get it with Anthony Davis, you know. Parang okay, he played well, 4 blocks nga dito. But come on, you're being shaken up by who? Jay Crowder. Parang there was a point na hindi niya kaya yung bangga ni Crowder. I'm just wondering, is it ano ba? Parang is Anthony Davis, does he really have yung that fire in the belly na parang okay, makikipagbanggaan talaga ako. Kasi there were so many times he was on the floor, shaken up, na parang slow to get up, di ba?
That's a very good point that you raised, Anthony. No, because Miami's strategy in this series mainly is to have small guys on Anthony Davis. They don't put Bam Adebayo on Anthony Davis most of the time. They usually put Bam on LeBron, and they put Jay Crowder, Jimmy Butler on AD. And it's really fascinating for me, at the same time very intriguing na he's being pushed away from the paint and from his sweet spots by this undersized guys, no?
Yeah.
And maybe it's a high time for Anthony Davis, if they want to take care of business in the next game, to really impose his will, impose his might, show them who the boss is. He's 7 feet after all, and he can just really push away these guys with his sheer height and really dominate them inside the paint.
Jay Crowder is the height of a PBA center. Diba?
Yeah.
6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
And I mean, diba, parang at some point he was getting under Anthony Davis's skin. Diba? Where yung repeatedly the banging underneath the basket. Even LeBron. Did you notice at some point LeBron was like he was looking at Jay Crowder saying, "Yo, what's up?" Diba? Parang you've been going at me.
That's right. And yun nga, for Anthony Davis, no, he has to figure out how to be able to counter these strategies that opponents are going to throw to him, because he's having a feast against opponents who are the same size as he is or taller than him, because he has that speed factor.
Yeah.
Pero when you have guys who are smaller but have a really wide base, have big bodies that can push him out, doon siya nahihirapan eh. And that's what he has to prove to the world right now, that he can dominate even the smaller guys.
Right. And that's just the nagging thing about Anthony Davis now, Javi. Okay, game 2, whoa. Like I was amazed, 30 piece, and then talagang he was utterly dominant. But game 3, he disappears. He just isn't there, and then here he re-emerged again. Parang is it like when you see that type of player, he's super duper talented, could have won Defensive Player of the Year, should have won actually, pero like he would have these disappearing acts in between games in the finals, like how, what do you credit that to? No, parang like okay, you have all this talent, but then one game you're there, next game you aren't,
Well, credit that to the Miami Heat defense, and credit that to the defensive schemes that Coach Spo has imposed on Anthony Davis. It's really a lot of the foul trouble and pushing him out of his sweet spots that
Sure.
were the trouble for Anthony Davis, and that's why he wasn't able to perform well in those games, especially last game where he had only 50 points after averaging 33 points in the first two.
Right.
He really has to know how to control his aggressiveness to the point where he doesn't make unnecessary fouls and doesn't get fouls when early in the first quarter, where the team needs him to stay in the game for a very long time.
Right. And Avin, okay. Let's flash back a bit to game 2. So LeBron, AD, they put up 30 pieces in game 2. Yun daw yung first duo, I think, since the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, who scored 30 apiece in the final. So Kobe and Shaq did it versus the 2002 Nets. Okay, so talk comes up na, maybe they're the greatest LA duo after the Kobe and Shaq tandem back in the day, Pero I think it's a little bit too early to say that, especially when you're forgetting about the Kobe and even Pau Gasol duo that won back-to-back titles, right? Na parang, okay, I get it, they're getting all the attention right now, but maybe it's time. Do you press the gas or pump the brakes with that statement?
You definitely have to pump the brakes with that statement, Anthony. You don't get too excited. Kobe and Shaq won 3 titles, almost won 4 straight. You have Kobe and Pau Gasol who won back-to-back. Anthony Davis and LeBron haven't even won anything yet. You don't have anything to prove. You don't have anything na pwede mo ipagmayabang. So no, you don't have that tag of being the best duo or even the best duo after Shaq and Kobe. It's still Shaq and Kobe and Pau. Nobody after that yet. So they have to win this first if they want to be in that conversation.
True. And ito pa, add to that. So now they're saying na, okay, Anthony Davis might be the best teammate that LeBron has ever played with. Now, again, we pump the brakes on that because aren't we forgetting about guys like Dwayne Wade, diba? Even Kyrie Irving might have something to say about that. Like, again, pump the brakes, right?
Yeah, it's funny for me that Dwayne Wade was the one who really was on record in public who said that Anthony Davis was the best fit for LeBron James as a teammate. Because for me, there was really no stopping that LeBron James, Dwayne Wade duo on the wings for the Miami Heat. They were just throwing lob passes one after the other to each other, and it was just, if you were the point guard, Mario Chalmers, pipili ka lang kung sino babatuhan mo left and right. There was LeBron and Dwayne Wade, and they had great chemistry together. Amazing chemistry. And right now, I think, in my opinion, Anthony Davis has been just developing that kind of chemistry with LeBron James in their time with the Lakers. Only time can tell if Anthony Davis really is the greatest fit for LeBron James as a teammate, but maybe not so much right now. That's why we pump the brakes on this one.
True. I agree, Javi, And, okay, so we pump the brakes on the best teammate argument, but okay, because I've been hating so much on Anthony Davis, diba? So maybe here's something that we can consider. What if Anthony Davis is the best big man that LeBron has played with on any of his championship runs? Remember, in Miami, he had Chris Bosh. In Cleveland, he had Kevin Love. Pero what makes me say that Anthony Davis is the best big man that LeBron has played with is, notice, Javi, that AD didn't have to change his game so much to fit LeBron. Chris Bosh relegated to stretch 4. Diba? In Toronto, he was the low post scorer. Kevin Love in Minnesota relegated to what? Corner free guy in Cleveland. Pero AD, I don't see him really changing his game much from when he was in New Orleans. Diba? What do you think about that?
That's right, Anthony. AD wasn't really able to didn't really have to change his game for LeBron here in LA compared to what Kevin Love and Chris Bosh did. Kevin Love was a really superstar in Minnesota. He was the man there, and same with Chris Bosh in Toronto. But now AD was called upon in LA to join LeBron James to be the 1-2 punch. But I think the reason why this has happened is the reason why Anthony Davis hasn't been able to change his game anymore is because LeBron is nearing the twilight of his career, if we can say. We know that he's still playing, like he's still in his prime, but AD just jumped into a time where LeBron is nearing the tail end of his career. And I think the vision that the Lakers had for this one is that when LeBron eventually retires, AD will be that man in that spot for them.
Right. So parang he didn't change his game because he didn't have to, diba? Unlike before, LeBron was the focal point, right? So parang here, okay, he's more comfortable being the facilitator na eh. So yeah, I do get that. Why AD hasn't changed his game so much, no? But okay, let's go outside the top two, the main duo of LA now. So what I noticed with most Laker fans is you have crucified Danny Green so much that he now refuses to shoot at all. Okay, wait lang. So nagiging highlight pa nga if Danny Green makes at least 2 3-pointers in a game. That's like, whoa, he nailed some, no? But so it also extends to Kyle Kuzma. So there's a petition right now that says that he should not get a ring, diba? Even if they win the titles. Okay, so it got me thinking. Maybe, Javi, the problem is not with Danny Green's shooting, but maybe the problem is with LA fans' expectation of Danny Green. Because, okay, let's face it, Danny Green's not the same shooter he was in San Antonio. He's not the same guy who shot the NBA Finals 3-point record back in 2013, 2014? So, you accept that Danny Green is just there to play defense. And Kyle Kuzma, parang he's not Kyle Korver, he's still Kyle Kuzma who's inconsistent, right? So maybe for LA fans, do you tone down now your expectations of Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma and all the other guys?
Well, yeah, I think that's a problem with most fans. Sorry, no offense, but I'll have to tell you the truth. But yes, Danny Green isn't the same shooter he was when he was in San Antonio. In fact, when he was in Toronto, he wasn't the same shooter anymore, like he was in San Antonio as well. So now that he's with the Lakers, he's also had some injuries with LA. His game wasn't the same anymore, so you cannot expect him to be that same player that he was in San Antonio. He is there to play defense and knock down some shots occasionally, not all the time. He is not a streak shooter. The same with Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma's been inconsistent all year. He was pegged to be the third leading scorer or the third leader on offense for the Lakers, but that didn't happen at a lot of times this year. That's why this team was built with a lot of veterans, because a lot of these guys know when to step up, know when it's time to take the cudgels from these young guys who aren't able to perform. These guys like Kyle Kuzma. That's why you have Markieff Morris. That's why you have Rajon Rondo to pick up the cudgels from these guys who are not able to perform at times when they are needed to be.
Right, Javi. So parang now we understand why in game 1 when LA was shooting 65% from free in the first half, medyo glitch yata yun. Medyo bubble glitch yata yun, because you can't, come on, realistically, you can't expect them to shoot that way, diba? Even if the finals is practically, towards its end.
Yeah, the law of averages will one day come catch up with you, and it's inevitable to say that you can't sustain that kind of shooting clip. Even if you were playing in a video game, that's kind of impossible.
Like even Rajon Rondo, diba, for a period he was shooting like, I don't know, game 2, game 3. He was shooting from free. But okay, reminder, Rajon Rondo has never been a 3-point shooter even in his Boston days. So again, diba, like kanina, Rajon Rondo, he had his first 2 in the fourth quarter na. So again, you can't. Okay, my point being is, I know it's a hot take, but if you remove AD and LeBron, LA is a subpar offense, right? Like it's not championship caliber. It's not a championship caliber offense without AD or LeBron over there.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why they just surrounded these guys with these small pieces, because AD and LeBron are the big pieces of the puzzle. They make up 80% of that offense. They are 80% of that offense and that defense. That's why when AD isn't able to be aggressive on both sides of the court, the Lakers aren't the same. They don't play Laker basketball. And when LeBron isn't aggressive, pitching the ball to his teammates or making good moves on defense, they're not the same LA team as they were in their good games this year.
Right, Javi. And I think what we can define as good Lakers basketball, at least in this finals, was strangely enough, I've criticized Anthony Davis for being not that physical. Pero in their blowout wins, they were the one to impose the physicality on Miami. Parang if you notice, like LeBron was playing bully ball, parang they were ready to bang bodies. Like I think maybe that's what LA has to embrace as their sort of their identity, no, so to speak.
Yes, you're right. Whoever is the physical team in this series, they are the ones who come out on top. And Frank Vogel is used to coaching teams who play physical defense. Remember the Indiana Pacers team that LeBron faced when he was in
Yes.
Miami? That was one heck of a physical team. You had
Yes.
Roy Hibbert, Paul George, Danny Granger. That was a very scary team to go against. David West on the block was a killer. So I know that the Lakers can play physical basketball, physical defense, physical offense. And if they do this next game, they will take care of business and go out on top and get that 17th banner on top of Staples.
Right, Javi. And you know what? Speaking of this physicality, I know, this was Miami's edge, but they're the gritty, hard-nosed defensive team that Eric Spoelstra really coached so well. But did it become parang a double-edged sword for Miami, because all this physicality, all this hard-nosed playing, you think this kind of over-fatigued Miami to the point where Bam Adebayo just broke down. Goran Dragic, unfortunately, injured his foot in game one. You think parang because they were so overworked, so over-fatigued, facing Boston in the previous round, and which is not easy, huh? Which is not easy. And Eric Spoelstra is just working on a 7 to 9 player rotation. Do you think that kind of factored in na rin? It kind of caught up with Miami, that over fatigue, being overworked.
It may be one of the factors, Anthony, because the way Miami runs their offense, they do a lot of handoffs, they do a lot of motion screens, and they do a lot of X actions on the perimeter. And nakakapagod yun. And the way they defend, Pat, they go to a zone and then they switch to a man-to-man. It's very difficult. Duncan Robinson, I think, really
Yes.
is one of the prime examples of how Miami is over fatigued. You see the way he runs off screens, the way he runs off to handoffs, and passes and stops and then just runs again. That is the way that Miami has been running all season long. And I think, yes, it has caught up to them. Goran Dragic, the same thing. He's injured on his plantar fascia. He tore it, and I think that is one of the factors. And that's why it's very tricky to run an NBA team. You don't know when to shorten your rotation or to lengthen it at certain times of the season. And especially if you make it to the NBA Finals. Remember, you play an 82-game regular season, and it's first round, second round, conference finals. And then if you make it to the NBA Finals, how many games do you play?
Sure.
I'm sure fatigue was a factor in that set in for the Miami Heat. These injuries were just something that highlighted that kind of thing.
Right. But like you mentioned, Duncan Robinson. Like kanina, I noticed he was easily blown by KCP, and on that parang one of KCP's layups down the stretch. Duncan Robinson was late to cut him off his drive. So, and even when he comes off screens, parang Robinson can't get into that, the same rhythm that would make him release the ball in time. Wala parang may hingal na rin.
Exactly. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to rewatch some footage of Duncan Robinson going off screens and going off handoffs with that same play that they usually run, compared to the regular season where he was really on fire and his rhythm was very beautiful. His shot was not rushed, and now if you compare it parang ang bagal na nga nung
Yeah.
approach niya dun sa handoffs, ang bagal ng approach niya off the screen, off the pass. And then yung shot niya, yung rhythm niya, bihira niya nakukuha. And this is the first game that he's actually been able to knock down shots easily. You know, the previous game, he was really off. His shots were off the mark. Sobrang nagmamadali siya sa mga tira niya, and that's what really happened. That's what really one of the things that gave Miami a hard time, because they relied a lot on Duncan Robinson's outside shooting to open up the lanes inside for Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo to do their thing.
Right. Pero Javi, we gotta give it to this guy. I mean, okay, Duncan Robinson, fatigue, Bam Adebayo, nursing neck and shoulder troubles, but this guy sprains his ankle in game 1. And I think it wasn't Eric Spoelstra's decision to play him still, but he wouldn't allow himself to sub out even if he had a sprained ankle. And then in game 3, he gives us a 40-piece with 10 boards and 13 assists. I'm talking about, as Eric Spoelstra said in his own words, Jimmy F. Black Butler. And that's the only explanation you can give. Javi, okay, if this final series is not proof enough that Jimmy Butler is a superstar with a capital S, I don't know what is. Parang this one, he just proves it already. He's at that A-list level of NBA players.
Oh yeah, definitely. Win or lose this championship series, Jimmy Butler has proven, and Eric Spoelstra has said that he is in the top tier of competitors in this league, and he is in the top tier of superstar players in this league. That this series just only cements that. His performance in the series has only cemented that. That 40-point triple-double in the last game, that is crazy. After you sprained your ankle in the first game and willing your team to victory, after 2 of your star players went down, just you really going out there to play and go to war for your team, that is the sign of a true superstar. That is a sign of a true leader.
Right, Javi, and I think this is, come on, Eric Spoelstra is not like Tom Thibodeau na kahit siguro pilay ka na, sige, laro ka pa rin ng 40 minutes. No, Eric Spoelstra is not like that. I think, what Jimmy Butler was telling Eric Spoelstra, don't sub me out of this one. I'm playing through a sprained ankle. Diba? Knowing his competitive nature, he would have said that.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's crazy work ethic. No, it's just really going on full display in this series, and it's rubbing off on Miami Heat. And he is in the right organization that preaches hard work. Never give up kind of spirit, never say die kind of spirit. He is in the right organization, and I'm hoping that he will be here to stay in the Miami Heat.
Oh, I think he will. I think he very will. Javi, parang game 3 got me thinking, I remember 2006, another guy from Marquette. Miami was down in the finals 2-0. They end up winning it all. So parang I was thinking, okay, Marquette, Jimmy Butler from D-Wade, down 2-0, they win game 3, pero wala. Game 4 proved otherwise. Parang I was banking on that. Yun na yung sabi ko, okay, ito na yung magiging kwento ng series. Pero I don't know. Didn't happen that way.
Yeah, I actually thought he was gonna go wild again this game, but you're playing 45 minutes all games. Your usage rate is very high. It's very hard to sustain, even if you're someone like Jimmy Butler. The fatigue is really gonna catch up with you one way or another, and it really showed in this game.
Yun nga, parang, okay, we mentioned about LA having a subpar offense outside of LeBron and AD, pero pag umupo sila, in terms of depth, not in terms of talent depth, but in terms of depth na marami kang maisa-sub, meron ng LA nun di ba? Pero pag Miami kasi, once you sub out Jimmy Butler, like, who would you put in? Solomon Hill? Diba? Parang wala, dun sila nagkukulang. It's that short rotation talaga that's, I don't know, like, when you go into the bubble, diba, parang 6 months kang hindi nakapaglaro, and then all of a sudden, hey, 40 minutes a night, parang, whoa, your body can only handle so much.
Yeah, that's right. That's a very good point that you raised. And even on the Miami side of things, Kendrick Nunn had a tough time and a long time trying to get back his rhythm after he went down with COVID-19. Right. And after a very spectacular rookie season, he wasn't able to get his mojo back in time. he had a few good games. I think it was a game 1 or game 2 in this series where he was able to score 15 points. But earlier today, he made his first few shots, but ended up only in single-digit scoring. Wasn't able to contribute a lot down the stretch, and that's what they were really missing, along with the production of Goran Dragic. No, and Miami's short rotation really is going to hurt them along the way, and I think that's what's going to happen inevitably when LA wins the title.
But at least now I mean, that's all you can ask for from Miami. Put up a fight, diba? Give up. Go through everything, pero pure guts, just pure determination. Jimmy Butler doing his thing in Game 3. Parang I think you can ask for more already from this Miami Heat team. They're hurting, they're injured, they're tired, but they at least pulled off one game, no?
Yep. That's a beautiful thing about this year's playoffs. So a lot of teams who weren't expected to be in certain places in this playoffs were able to perform, and over teams that were touted to be in the higher places in the playoffs. No, you had the Milwaukee Bucks underperforming the LA Clippers, but look who are here: the Miami Heat. The Denver Nuggets were able to outclass the Clippers. It's really a beautiful time for NBA basketball, and ika nga, diba, bilog ang bola. So that's what really happened in this bubble season.
Okay, so Javi, preparing for LA's coronation parade. Okay, yun lang. Ano. Pero okay, Javi, let's try to I know there are lots of Lakers fans out there along our beloved Katipunan Avenue, but let's try to rationalize things for LA. LA is not winning that Banner 17 because their front office is as brilliant as Masai Ujiri and the Raptors or even the San Antonio Spurs. No. Parang what LA has an advantage is it's LA, it's Hollywood, it's glamour. So when LeBron James chooses you over other teams, like team building becomes so much easier because that's how you attract an Anthony Davis to come in. Like it doesn't take a genius GM to say, you know what, let's draft these guys, let's make trades. No, parang LA, you kind of can argue LA had it easier with having LeBron choose them instead of any other team.
Oh yeah, definitely. Once you have someone like a LeBron James, that alone is already attraction enough for free agents like Anthony Davis or marquee players, marquee names to go over to your side of things, because you have LeBron James. He's a proven winner. He's won three championships already, going for his 4th year with LA. Whenever you have someone like that on your team who decides to play for you, that alone is reason enough for marquee names, those who want to win a championship, to play for you.
And I'm not taking away anything from, the Lakers organizations in the past. Okay, 96, they drafted Kobe. They traded for Kobe on draft day pala after he was drafted by Charlotte. And then they make a trade for Pau Gasol. They team up with Kobe, win 2 back-to-back titles. But this 2020 LA front office, I don't think it's parang in the same footing as those previous organizations.
Oh yeah, definitely. They really had it easier compared to the other teams. Their front office is not really at par with how San Antonio runs things, or with how Toronto runs things, or even with how Golden State runs their stuff. No, but having LeBron James really didn't have it easier for the LA Lakers front office.
Okay, so Javi, what am I getting at here? With LA having it easier in the bubble. So, Banner 17 will have, a big asterisk on top of it. LeBron's 4th title will have an asterisk on top of it. Okay. I'm not trying to hate, but Javi, that's how it is. Like, people love to put controversy on any championship that there is. Tingnan mo, last year, 2019, you know what? Toronto just got lucky. Asterisk, because Kevin Durant was injured. Klay Thompson tore his ACL. Asterisk. I'll go back a bit. LeBron in 2012 against OKC, that was a lockout season. Diba? It was a shortened season. Asterisk. Even my San Antonio Spurs, 1999. lockout shortened season, asterisk. The point is, I mean, it's how we frame the narrative. Anyone can say asterisk on any championship that there is. Diba?
That's right. Anybody can say asses, but it's easy to point fingers if you're not in that situation.
Exactly.
You don't know how hard it is, first, to build a team, second, to win, and third, to reach the finals, and fourth, to actually win that ship. It's
Yeah.
easy to point fingers if you're not in that team, if you're not in that kind of situation. You'll always be forced, or you'll always be condemned to say this is an asterisk type of championship, but because of this kind of situation, because of this certain kind of situation. But every championship is very unique. Every championship has its hardships. Every championship has something that they had to work for, and it's not easy. And it's really unfair for people to say that this championship had an asterisk because of this championship had an asterisk because of that.
Remember, Avi, back in the mid-90s, no? When, Chicago Bulls free-peat, first part of the 90s, and then Jordan plays baseball. The two championships by Houston, asterisk, because Jordan wasn't there. So you put an asterisk on Hakeem Olajuwon's championships. That would be so unfair. Diba? Because what? Until now, diba, the NBA considers those championships by the Rockets as legit titles. They even have rings for it. So to say that for me, if the NBA says it's a title, then on record it's a title. It is a title, no matter how many asterisks you put on top of that trophy.
No, nobody can say that this title or that title had an asterisk to it. If anything, the championship this season shouldn't even have an asterisk. This championship this season is the most unique that the NBA has ever seen. It's a whole new game, diba? That's their tagline for this season, because they're in a bubble. I think it's one of the hardest championship seasons that any team has to go through, because they were away from their families for months in an NBA bubble. It's not easy being away from their families for a long time. Remember, these guys are still humans. We glorify them so much because they're basketball superstars. They're millionaires who earn so much just by playing. They're superhuman specimens. But these people are also human beings, and they also have feelings. They also know how it feels to be sad and happy. So let's not forget that.
Right, especially to say that it's an asterisk, given the fact that it's a sacrifice for them to commit to stay in the bubble for what, four months, diba? If you're lucky to be in the playoffs, to commit to stay in the bubble and also put yourself at a health risk, because no place on earth right now is 100% COVID proof. Like, that in itself is a huge win on the part of, diba? On the part of LA or Miami even.
Yeah, it's a huge win, actually, not just for LA or Miami. It's a huge win for the NBA.
Yeah.
This season has been unprecedented. They have been the pioneers of this kind of bubble system, and every major sports league around the world is following suit in that kind of way that they run things. The PBA is opening in a few days, and they follow that kind of system. The NBA really has to be glorified for this. Adam Silver did a very amazing job in organizing this season and salvaging what was left of this season, and still managing to have this amazing show for us, this LA Miami season to close this bubble.
So the only time it's safe to put an asterisk is if you're enrolling your phone for the extra mobile data plans. That's the only time you put asterisk. Not
Asterisk 143 number 7. Yun lang.
yun lang. You know what? Basketball, not a good idea to put asterisks. Pero Javi, speaking of 2020, before we wrap this thing up, I think only in 2020 do you see a final series being played, and you also see fired head coaches getting new gigs. I'm talking about Doc Rivers finding a job in Philadelphia. Javi, isn't it funny? So Paul George and Kawhi, they go to LA because they want to play for Doc Rivers. Because he's a player's coach, diba? Easy to get along with. Pero interestingly, in Doc Rivers' exit, Paul George and Kawhi had a say in him getting out the door. So, like, how do you like kung ikaw head coach, how do you position yourself right now? Na parang you want to play for me, then you get me fired. It's so weird.
You know, and the NBA is just a zoo, man. It's really crazy the way people say things at the start and then at the end of the day, wala. Parang iwanan na lang sa ere. It's crazy. It's just like it's really crazy how they do things there. You know, one day you're really good with your coach, and then when push comes to shove, when you lose, you just leave him there to be. And then that's what happened with Doc Rivers in LA. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard had a chance to save Doc Rivers' job, but they didn't vouch for him, and now he's on his way to Philadelphia to coach the 76ers. And Mike D'Antoni also with the Houston Rockets. And a lot of head coaches who lost their jobs are finding their ways to new teams. And it's going to be an exciting offseason really for the NBA. And I hope the next season will be soon because we're really going to miss NBA basketball when this is over.
Yun nga, But I mean, a head coach's life is just so much filled with parang uncertainty. Like you're always on the hot seat. If your name's not Greg Popovich, you're always going to be on the hot seat. Like, okay, so Doc Rivers now in Philadelphia. But recently we talked about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. They don't exactly get along with each other on the court. So parang is Doc Rivers the answer to that? Or do you think, Javi, it's time for Philly to reshuffle the team again?
Well, yeah, I don't really like how Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid synergize together. In fact, they don't have that synergy together. Their playing styles don't match each other. And I think even with the entry of Doc Rivers, even if he's known as a player's coach, it's going to be hard for Philadelphia. Maybe if they surround both guys with the right pieces, those compatible pieces that will match their style of play. But if you ask me, that duo is not a match for each other.
Right. So trade talks have come up, and they're suggesting James Harden might be a better fit with Joel Embiid. What do you think about that?
I'm all for that. Actually, when I saw that, my face just lit up, and I was like, okay, please do it, because definitely James Harden and Russell Westbrook in Houston didn't work. It's still a big man's league. Yeah. You still need to have that man in the middle. And although that small ball system worked to a certain extent, going to go all the way to win that championship, you'll still need to have that big man in the middle for you to win that ship.
Right, Javi. And all I can say is, so if James Harden goes to Philly, so it's going to be Harden and Embiid plus Tobias Harris. Okay, I see that. Pero looking at the Rocket side of things, Westbrook and Simmons in the backcourt, lit shooting, bro. Lit shooting, bro.
You mean brick shooting?
Can you just imagine the Rockets just built their team on analytics. So Westbrook and Simmons, good luck with your freeze now.
That's gonna be crazy, man. I don't know how they're gonna make it work. They're gonna need a ton of shooters to surround those two if it's gonna work at all.
All right, Javi, I think that wraps up our Katipunan Crossover Hoop Talk for this afternoon. Okay, lots of storylines to cover. Finals is still gonna continue, I think, Friday. So we'll see if it's still gonna be extended for at least two games na lang, diba? For at least 2 games, or is it gonna be wrap up time for the Lakers? Javi, on that note, I think you have a busy evening later, kasi after this, parang maya-maya lang you also have another program to attend to. So why don't you invite our Katipuneros to your next speaking engagement?
Yes, that's right. To all our listeners and to everybody who's watching live on the Radyo Katipunan Facebook page, I just want to invite everybody to watch our podcast later tonight. It's called Standing Room Only PH. We're doing a matinee episode where we're going to break down Game 4 of the NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers. I'll be with Luis Boot, Mix Peralta, and Monito Gregorio. See you guys tonight. We're live tonight at 9 on the SROPH Facebook page. Hope to see you guys.
Okay. Okay na lang, Javi. Alam mo na yung sasabihin mo later kasi naka pre-game warm-up ka na di ba?
Oh, man. I'm very blessed to be here again, Anthony. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate the time, Javi. Again, ingat sa lahat. Stay home, stay safe. Keep watching NBA basketball. See you, Javi.
See you, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to The Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down!